everybody. Orange Sharif here. We're on episode 8 with the legendary Jon Talarico. He is one of Bob Proctor's top coaches. He's a wealth and mindset coach. He helps individuals reach their goals in business by changing their life and their mindset with personal coaching. He's the CEO of Empire Media Group. He's the founder of Master Your Mind and founder of a podcast, Million You. We are so blessed to have the legendary Jon Talarico on the show. Jon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Oren. Super excited to be here. Really, it's an honor to be here. Great stuff you're doing.
Yeah, so Jon, we just kind of want to dive into a little bit about your background, how you got to where you are. I mean, growing up from Flint, Michigan to the status that you're at, how did you get there?
Yeah, good old Flint, Michigan. You guys, if you don't know Flint, Michigan, it's a wonderful city that was putting lead in the water and doing all kinds of damage to their residents. It started from my grandmother on. She, when I was very young, started making me listen to a gentleman named Les Brown on the radio every Sunday night from the AME church in Detroit. And that kind of lit a fire in me about the fact that I didn't have to end up staying in Flint, Michigan. I didn't have to end up having to go work at the assembly line, right? That there was something more that I could be doing, have whatever I want. And as I listened to Les, it lit something inside of me that said, I am here for a reason. I am here for a purpose. Now, it took 4 decades to finally get to that, Aaron, but at least it started something. And that's why I always say we sometimes need to borrow someone else's belief in us until we can believe it ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so that's how it all started.
It's amazing, Jon. Your story is so amazing, so inspiring to everybody. And, I've got a good question for you that Bob asks me all the time. And when I initially met him, we're both connected with the legendary Bob Proctor. So we would all like to know, what is Jon Talarico's C-type goal?
Great. I'm so happy and grateful, Aaron. Bob has us all write it down, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that I am impacting and influencing 1 million people or more to live the life of their dreams. And that's what I work toward every day. I'm honored to be working with Bob. He is really the greatest in human potential and success. He's been doing this 60 years. And it all started like everything does with a thought, right? And I just sat there and said, one day I'm going to be mentored personally and be in this man's inner circle. I had no idea how that was going to happen. Didn't have any connection to Bob. But that's how powerful a decision is, that when you make up your mind that you want to do something, be something, and have something, and set yourself and take massive daily action each day, don't worry about the how, then anything's possible. So that's my C-type goal, Aaron.
It's an amazing goal. We're so glad that you decided to do this goal to help so many people. And, we met at a mutual friend of our Onyx and Gall's studio. He's a really powerful guy too. And I remember you were talking about 1 million in you. And I kind of want to dive into, what is the 1 million in you? I don't know if you have a program about that. Maybe you have a book written.
Sure.
So could you explain further, what is 1 million in you?
Yeah, great question, Aaron. 1 million in you. It's really that one unique thing that you, Aaron, myself, all your listeners, it's that special gift that you have. It's not $1 million. It's because the C-type goal, for example, is different to each and every one of us, but we all have that one unique thing. We were created in God's image, in pure perfection, spirit, universe, whatever you choose to believe. You were created in pure perfection. And while you're here to do something, that you have that one unique thing that you do better than anyone else. And that's what I believe is the million in you. It's that special, unique gift, your talent, a lot of people call it your superpower, your why, your mission. And so what I do is I help people, one, find it and then extract it and bring it out so that they can stop wasting time and start helping, transforming, and changing their own lives, right? And that has to start with ourselves. We have to know that we have that one special thing that we do, and that nothing outside of ourselves could ever dictate or stop us from becoming that and doing all that we want to do to help change the world.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And Jon, I've had so many people requesting for this interview to come, and everyone is so interested. How do they get involved in 1 million you? How do they bring on?
Yeah, well,
what do they do?
Great question. Great question. What I do is I teach a 6-month mastermind, and I really teach people and show people how to find 1 million in you, how to actually think their way into the results that they want. We go over and develop the understanding, right? The only real challenge in the world is lack of awareness. So when you guys have the awareness to know that you have everything you already need, that everything's already here, the way for us to be talking here on this call, people listening from all over the world. The last weekend, we're getting pictures beamed down from Mars. The way to do that has always been here, right? The way to master the sky. That if you do things and follow the blueprint to success, the blueprint to the 1 million in you, then you can have whatever you want, because it's all based on natural laws, on universal law. And it's true for all people in all places and all times. And that's how the top people in the world really think, act, and operate. They understand this. The Wright brothers did not work against nature and natural law. They found a way to work with it. And now we can master the sky, right? We can fly on a steel tube. And I flew 16 hours a couple months ago over to the Maldives. And so when you work with that, when you understand the blueprint, you guys can have whatever you want, and you can collapse time through knowledge and understanding to know that you have everything you already need to be successful. And so they can find me at my website, Oren. They can find me on Instagram. And yeah, I would love to work with all of you guys.
It's amazing. Your website's jontalarico.us, because us is for all of us.
That's right. You guys, I have a great free report. I believe, look, there's 3 things that we need to do. I speak about the power of connection. The most important thing is we have to connect to the right kind of thinking, because the results we've gotten up until now have not gotten us what we truly want. So when we understand that there's a new model that we can think our way into results, that we can master our mind and change the programming, we can connect to the right kind of thinking. The second thing we need to do is connect to the right message. What is it that Oren and John and everyone else, what is it that we're telling ourselves? What do we really want? Not what you think you can get, but what do you truly want? Remember, this is your movie, you guys. You're the producer, the star, the writer, and director. And nobody outside of you, your environment, friends, family, nobody should ever cause you to react to life, but rather you want to master the art of calmness and move through life, responding to each and every situation. And then when you connect to the right network, people like you, Warren, the amazing stuff you're doing with your show and your program to touch millions of people's lives. When you connect to the right network, when you understand how you can build and create a network of millionaires and billionaires, industry leaders, celebrities, and then you become unstoppable, right? When you have those 3 things, connecting to the right message, mindset, and network, you become unstoppable. So if you want to go to jontalarico.us, right? Because it's about us. We're all in this together, right? While we're here, right? We all came from one place. We're all going to transition to another place. But while we're here, let's know that we are all in this together. Let's help each other out, lift each other up, understand that we don't come from a competitive mindset, but a creative mindset. And so I have a free report there. It explains the 10 laws of how you guys can build that powerful network. If I can do this from Flint, Michigan, and have relationships and partnerships with people like Bob Proctor, like Les Brown, like Konnex, done stuff with Damon John, Grant Cardone, and all these other people, Akon, then all of you guys can do it as well. So yeah, Jon Talarico, Talarico.us.
It's amazing. I'll make sure to include the link. And, just to expand on that a little bit further, because, the show's really about entrepreneurs and people trying to rise up and get to that level. So if you could dive a little bit deeper into how exactly you did attract and use the law of attraction to get people like Akon and Grant Cardone and Bob Proctor. Maybe you can share a story how you were able to attract these people to go from where you are to where you wanted to go. And maybe did you use a vision board? Maybe a few things like that.
Great question, you guys. Everything starts with the thought, right? We have to be able to see it in our mind first. And if you haven't read The Power of Awareness, I encourage all of you guys to read that by Neville Goddard, right? He talks about living from the end. In other words, you want to use your imagination, see yourself as the person you wish to become, and start to act as that person immediately. You don't want to see yourself as having to go somewhere. You want to see yourself as living from somewhere, right? And so it all started with the decision. I realized that I was not happy with my results, and that it was only me to blame. You have to take full responsibility for wherever you guys are in your life right now. No judgment, but know that there's a different way to be, act, and operate. I went to a seminar from Bob Proctor. It was called Paradigm Shift, where he taught me that I had these paradigms, these mental habits, that I kept making these decisions based on old programming. And that's why, even though sometimes when we go to seminars, we get excited Sunday night, right? We tell the girlfriend or the family or the friends, look out, I'm going to change the world starting tomorrow morning. This is it. And we get up early Monday and we start doing all kinds of stuff. And Tuesday, we still get up. But guess what? By Thursday or Friday, we're right back to doing the same thing we did. And then the seminar comes back again, a year later. And we go back again and we swear to ourselves, this time will be different. And again, maybe we make it 2 weeks. We don't understand that we have to change our subconscious programming. So Bob sat there for 2.5 days talking about how I could change my results by simply changing my thinking, that everything was energy, and that there was a certain way that if I raised my energy, raised my vibration, that would activate the law of attraction, right? The law of attraction is actually a secondary law. The law of vibration is the first law. He also taught me about the law of gestation, that everything in the world has an incubation period. We know, Arne, in 9 months is how long it takes to have a baby. I believe it's 70 days to grow corn. But right now, up until now, nobody knows the gestation period for a spiritual seed. So that's why it's so important each and every day that we Remember, what are we planting in the garden of our mind? Weeds or wisdom? And never give up. So I sat there and said, I have no idea how it's going to happen, but I want to be personally mentored by this man. I want him to teach me how I can transform and change not only my life, but to then change the world. And the thing he did, Oren, is look, Bob already has all the money he needs. He's reached the pinnacle of his industry. He's the foremost thought leader on human success and potential. So what I sat there thinking, what does Jon Talarico have that Bob Proctor might need? And then I said, what is it not that Bob needs? What would make a difference in his life? And for 2.5 days, Oren, I went to the seminar. He played one song the whole weekend. One song. Morning, break, return from the break, lunch, return from lunch, the end of the day. And it was, I can see clearly now, it's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day, right? So I'm sitting there. And after that weekend, I got to thinking, this song means something to Bob because it's the only one he played. And I went, where does everyone go when they want to find out information? We go to Google, right? I looked up who sang that song, Johnny Nash. Any social media, any kind of website, there was nothing or nothing. He is a recluse. He's not performed in public since the early 1970s. But this is where you also have to be persistent, willing to do whatever it takes. And I would not give up. I kept going page after page after page deep into Google until I found some kind of court document that had a phone number related to Johnny Nash. Called the number and it was his wife. I said, ma'am, Bob Proctor's turning 80. If I send you an album, will you get him to autograph it for Bob? Now, Bob still didn't know me, but spent $8 on eBay, sent the album, got it back. Now, you also want to make it as easy as possible for people. And so I sent the tape, I sent the postage, I sent the marker, everything you could think of, right? And the packaging to send it back to me. And then what did I do? I got it framed and I put a plaque in there that said, Bob, thank you for helping me see clearly now, Jon Talarico. And I left it at his next event. And I left it at the front desk and I took off. An hour later, actually, because of Onik, Bob's son, Brian, was able to hunt me down and I said, Dad would like you to come back. He brought that thing up on stage, and from that moment, I am in his inner circle. I have been taught and continue to be taught and learn from this man on human potential and success. We've done and made millions of dollars together. And now last year, I made a decision to become one of his certified consultants. There's 1,500 of us around the world. And I signed up my first client last July 24th. December 15th, I signed up my 100th client. I ended up in a year in the top 10 of his company last year. And that's not anything about me, but it's about what's possible. When you guys know that you can be and do and have whatever you want, and that you can have it just like this. If you first start to transform and change your thinking, and then take massive action, trackable action on a daily basis, all right? So many of us think that we're really busy. We're not really productive. And you have to be disciplined. And you have to have faith. Persistence is just faith. You have to have that unwavering faith to know that nothing's going to stop you, or you have to go all in. You have to be willing to fall in love and to die for what you want, because we're all dying right now for what we don't want. And so that's how you guys can, really transform and change your life. Just make a committed decision.
Man, that's so powerful, Jon. All the stuff you mentioned, I'm sure our audience will get a lot of value with that. So, but to recap, this all started with just a single thought in your mind that you wanted to be attracted with Bob, and using that thought, you attracted that.
That's, Oren, if you look at everything over the course of human history, has all started with a thought. This thing here started with a thought. Putting a man on the moon started with a thought. And then from that thought, we have to have the belief. We have to have the belief. And so, yeah, everything starts with a thought. Everything's always created twice, right? Once in the mind, and then it manifests itself into the physical world. And so, yeah, it's as simple as that. And yet, see, this is the stuff that we're never taught. We're taught in school and we're given a lot of information. We're not given information on how to think. We're given information on how to memorize and remember stuff. But when you have the awareness to know that everything's already here, and that through thinking into results, you can develop an understanding of how these universal laws work, then you can start to move forward in life with ease, with unwavering faith, with that calmness of mind, right? And then things start happening, right? People, places, opportunities start showing up. That I hear it all the time from my clients. You're not going to believe this. And I say, of course I will, because that's how it works. That if you raise your vibration, it's not enough just to want something. You have to do it from a very high vibration. And some of my clients get frustrated because they say, Jon, I'm doing the work each and every day. I said, yeah, but how are you feeling when you wake up in the morning? Frustrated? Discouraged? There's a disconnect, right? And you cannot attract what if you're not on the right vibrational match. So I encourage all of them to raise your vibration. How do we keep our vibration high? It's in our attitude, or we want to practice and develop an amazing, great attitude. How do you cultivate a great attitude? Gratitude. All my clients, each and every morning, write down the 10 things or people that they're grateful for every day, 7 days a week, right? I encourage them to binge out, not on Netflix, but on themselves, right? We spend so much time doing other stuff that is not moving us toward our goal and dream.
Amazing, John. That's just so valuable. And that's going to lead me into my next question. These entrepreneurs who are at this business, at this level or in their business, what tools, techniques does Jon Talarico use? Like, for
Sure.
example, you mentioned gratitude. That's something I do. So what did you use specifically? And also maybe talk about before you got involved with this, what were you doing before? Were you just checking your
Sure.
phone in the morning? And then how did you transform? Like, what specific tools did you use? You did
Right.
this specifically throughout the day, and it helped transform that amazing mindset that you have.
Right. Yep. First thing, you guys, is have to have the awareness to know that you're not getting the results you want. So with the awareness to know, you have to understand that you have these mental paradigms that run your life, that 95% of our life is already programmed. So when you develop the awareness to know, okay, this is what's been getting me the results up until now, you now have the ability to change that. First thing you need is a goal. What is it you really want? Not what you think you can get, but you need to decide what is it that you truly love to do. So the first tool I would recommend is all of you. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur in coaching, e-commerce, an author, whatever it is, Shopify, Amazon, it doesn't matter. These tools work for everyone. You have to connect to the right thinking first. Yes, you can be rich and very successful and not understand how you did it. You can't teach that to anyone. You can't duplicate it. But when you understand the blueprint, you can now share it with other people. So the first thing you need is a goal. What is it that you want? You truly want. And that's where we talked earlier about the C-type goals, not what you think you can get. You want to build a fantasy tonight. If you're an entrepreneur, close your eyes tonight and see yourself as that person. If you want to earn $1 million, if you want to turn your annual income into a monthly income, see that. And then visualize, as you said earlier, visualizing is one of the major keys to success. However, it's the feeling. That's the secret, right? Feeling is a secret. There's a great book by Neville Goddard that talks about feeling is a secret. You want to get emotionally involved with that goal. See yourself. If that means that you have that dream car, the dream house that you've always wanted, see yourself. And then I encourage all my clients to go get it. Go sit in it this weekend. Go take pictures of you driving that car. Go find the dream house you actually want. You don't need money to buy a car in a dream house until you decide that you actually are going to have it and want it. So the first thing is get a goal, clearly defined, and make sure you put a date to it. And start it off. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am. And set a date to it. Remember, a date is just your best guess. And then take massive daily trackable action. The second thing is in the morning. First thing, exactly what I used to do. Go to the phone, right? We think life can't go on unless we check our phone first thing in the morning, right? Put the phone in the other room. This was a hard one for me, right? We have to learn to be present. Prayer and meditation. So the only way to change these habits, you guys, is through constant spaced repetition, doing things in a different way than you've ever done before to become someone you've never been. We have to create new habits. First habit, start the day visualizing prayer, meditation, whatever you want. See yourself as you go through the day. See yourself as the person you wish to become. The next thing I encourage all my clients to do is to create a life script. How does Oren's life look on February 25th, 2022? And write it out in the present tense in all areas of your life. I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm successful. I'm in a relationship of my dreams. I travel the world with my partner, seeing amazing places. I only surround myself with positive people. There is no right or wrong way. This is your life. Create a life script. Write it out in the present tense, record it on your phone, on voice loop. And I listen to that. After I get up and do my prayer meditation, I put that on for 10 or 15 minutes while I'm writing out my gratitude list. Then you do gratitude, 10 people or places or things, anything that you're grateful for. And don't just write them out just to say, okay, done. This is a tick box, right? That you did this. Actually feel it, right? The first thing always on my list is my 2 children. I have a beautiful 5-year-old and daughter and 4-year-old son. They're always number one on my list. And I close my eyes for a moment and I see their beautiful faces. That makes me smile, right? And then after gratitude, you want to study. You always want to be studying something. I study Bob Proctor and other leaders in human potential. And then look at my goal card. I review my goal card. And I plan my day. What are 7 things that I can do today that are going to move me closer to my dream and goal? And then I take action. That's how you want to start your day. At the end of the day, you want to review your day and look at not your time. You can't manage your time. You can only manage your activities. Ask yourself, did what I do today move me closer to what's on my goal card? And then you rethink your plan for the next day. And then if you have to rewrite your goal card, if you have to rewrite your life script, you do that. And then what do you do before you go to sleep? That moment before you close your eyes is so important, what you plant in your subconscious mind. Remember, the subconscious mind does not have the ability to differentiate between something that's true or false. Close your eyes again, visualize, feel yourself again, having whatever you want. And those are some few simple techniques, Oren. Actually, let me give you a couple more because these are so powerful. Sometimes it's the smallest little exercises that are the most impactful. Most of the reason why most of us don't have what we want or didn't have what we want, Oren, is because of our self-image, our lack of self-confidence. So if you guys go to Google or if you read Think and Grow Rich, there's a self-confidence formula in there. I have my clients stand in front of a mirror every morning for 2 minutes and read that. Look at themselves in the mirror because we need to develop and build up our self-image, our self-confidence. And then I have them also read a book called Psycho Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, where we start to understand that we have two self-images, the one that we project to the outside world, but then there's that other image that we live with, the one that I call it the committee that speaks to us, right? It's like, who are you to become a coach? You've never coached before. How are you ever going to find clients? What will you say? And all this noise, right? Our results can never outperform that self-image, but it's a false self-image and we can work to change it. And how do we change it? By doing new things than we've ever done, right? Taking and developing a new morning ritual and routine and surrounding ourselves with like-minded people, staying in the mastermind, right? Of people who know that we're here to create, not to compete. And that we are created in pure perfection, that we have everything we already need. And then we just get moving. We go. One of my favorite quotes, right? The universe loves speed. We have to get moving. The clock is ticking. But always remember what heaven's first law is order. You have to order your thinking first properly, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. You need order in your thoughts. You need order in your message, what you want. And then you need order in the people you surround yourself with, your network. So those are a few suggestions, Oren.
Jon, those were so helpful. I mean, I use those techniques too. I'm sure the audience will really value those techniques. And I'll make sure I write in the description below. It's amazing. Now, I want to go back and touch on something. I asked the previous guest, Greg Reed, about this, and you mentioned your kids. For all the parents out there who are wondering, is there anything you do especially with your children or anything to help them manifest? Like Greg told his son, Colt, to do an affirmation every day. I am powerful, I am something. So anything you can recommend to the parents to maybe advise their children on, maybe get them early on Think and Grow Rich? What do you do to help your children grow into the person like you've become?
Yeah, great question, Oren. I would always remember that our programming as we get older in life came from actually when we were very little, because our subconscious mind is wide open, right? We don't have the ability when we're kids to filter anything out. So it's so important what you're allowing them to listen to, what you're allowing them to read, what you're allowing them to hear. So I always encourage my two children to know that they can be, do, and have whatever they want. They have greatness in them. And I tell them at night when I'm with them, right? Daddy loves you. You can be, do, and have whatever you want. Always remember that. And also, and I will be very honest, as an entrepreneur, Aaron, as an entrepreneur, we don't ever shut off, right? It's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We're always working, right? Because at the end of the day, we are fully responsible, not only for ourselves, but our children and our employees. You want to be present with your children. And I have been guilty of this. It's a work in progress, right? We fail our way forward, you guys. Be present with your kids. How many times we go to a restaurant, and I've been guilty of this as well, right? We're on our phones. Put the phone away and be actually present with your children. Be present with yourself. We've been inundated with distractions, right? With the weapons of mass distraction, right? Social media, phones, and it seems to continue to get worse. And that's where it's so important to remember that you respond to life. You don't react. You don't ever allow anything outside of you to control how you're thinking or acting or being. Cherish those moments with your children. It was a moment when I saw a picture of my kids in my living room that woke me up and said, it's time to get moving. You had asked earlier what I did before all of this stuff. I started to just realize that I wanted to travel the world. And I had this unique ability. The million in me was the ability to build and create amazing relationships. Somebody asked me to get Akon, for example. This was about 9 years ago for a birthday party. I said, sure. I had no idea how that was going to happen. You guys, you have to stop worrying about how it's going to happen. From that, look, has happened 9 years later, been able to travel the world with him. We shared an office in the Empire State Building for 2.5 years, and it's opened up amazing opportunities for me. Same kind of thinking led to my relationship with Les Brown, with Bob Proctor. You just have to decide it's going to be so and then take action every day to do it, not worrying about how it's going to unfold. But what happened last year, Oren, is I saw a picture as I was walking in my living room with my two children, and they're 5 and 4. And I stopped for a moment and I said to myself, one day they're going to say, Dad, what is it that you do? And I thought for a moment, I'm like, what am I going to tell them I do? I get to travel the world with amazing, cool people. I make money. But, Oren, I did, what was I going to say to them? I hustle. I hustle. And I'm like, no, that's not the legacy I want my children to know their father for. And it was in that moment I said, no more. I'm not going to do things for other people, for my ego and what I think looks good. I'm going to go back to what I originally wanted to do when I went to college, which was to become a teacher and a coach. But I allowed friends and family to dictate how I felt. Teachers don't make any money, right? So what are you doing? You love math. So what did I do? The complete opposite thing. I went and got an MBA and proceeded to get fired from every single job I had. Last year, when I said no more and I turned inward, we have all the answers we need, you guys. All of you have all the answers you need to every question you're ever going to ask. I said, okay, let me do what I love to do. And that set in motion what I do now, which is the coaching. And so, yeah, it's just been a wonderful life. And it's so important that we are present, not only for our children, but for ourselves, our partner, our spouses, our friends, our family, our clients, our community, right?
It's amazing, Jon. I mean, just the story you said is going to inspire so many people. And I'm sure your children must be so happy to have such an amazing father like yourself. We're all getting better. As entrepreneurs, we do like to work 24/7. It's because we love what to do. So if people want to know how to love what they want to do,
Yes.
contact Jon Talarico. And the last thing I want to touch on, we've got about 5 minutes left for the show. You talked about outside circumstances, which I found people have a lot of problems dealing with. So they always let outside circumstances affect their inner thinking. So how did you build your mind to be so strong against outside circumstances, like in Think and Grow Rich about Napoleon Hill mentioning to build a fortress in your mind? Anything
Right.
specifically to build away this negativity? People get so much negativity with the news. Like, what is Jon Talarico doing to block all that stuff out?
Right. Yeah. And that's, you guys, that's why I call my company Master Your Mind. You have to master your thinking. Now, how do you do that? First of all, you have to understand that you have those paradigms that are going to try to run your life. We have a built-in cybernetic mechanism, right? We're goal-seeking individuals. And if we don't plant the coordinates we want, we're just going to go all over the place, right? Overwhelm, shiny object syndrome. So that brings me back to what I discussed earlier. First thing is you need a goal. You have to know what you're going, and you have to be able to fall in love with that goal. If not, it's the wrong goal. Because then you wake up and you're excited each day, you're fired up. And then what happens is you realize you don't have time for nonsense. You don't have time for the news. Why would you ever want to focus your attention on anything that is not helping move you toward your goal and dream? So you start to cut out those kind of things. People and friends and family will start to fall away. Doesn't mean you love them any less. It just means that you're on a mission. If people don't want to go along for the ride, then you don't have time, right? You have to operate with a sense of urgency. If you need any more sense of urgency, go look in the mirror after this call and look at yourself and say, the clock is ticking, it's moving, we have to go. So you want to fall in love with this. You have to understand that no matter what has happened up until this point, I know a lot of your listeners, myself included, have been through some stuff and some dark days. And it's very easy to get stuck in there because I did for a couple decades, right? We tell the story and we don't even realize that we're coming from a place of being a victim. Full responsibility, understanding that we have to take full responsibility for everything that has happened in our life, letting go of the anger, letting go of the blame, letting go of the worry, doubt, and anxiety. How do you do that? How do you transform and change your mind? Constant repetition of new ways of being. And you have to solidify, you have to fortify your mind. The way you do that, things that I talked about earlier, that new daily routine, surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, getting involved in masterminds, following your show, Oren, and the things that you're doing. Getting in a group of like-minded people to know that we don't have time to allow anything outside of ourselves to take us off course. But then knowing that the committee, the paradigms will eventually show up, and then always asking yourself, is the choice I'm about to make? And in each and every moment, you have the ability to choose, only you, a positive thought or a negative thought. Is my next choice going to move me close to my goal and dream? Or is it a choice made from my old habits and paradigms? And when you understand it in each and every moment, you're either operating in faith or fear. Both of those require you to believe in things you can't see. But where all the greatest gifts in life are, and all the greatest advancements and inventions and movements in human history have all occurred because one man or woman was willing to believe in the things they cannot see. Abraham Lincoln said, right, to believe in the things you can see is no belief at all, right? But to believe in the things you cannot see is both a blessing and a triumph. And then you want to move forward with calmness. You want to read things like As a Man Thinketh with James Allen, the chapter on serenity. Calmness of mind is one of the true jewels of wisdom. I have my clients write out that whole chapter and send it to me for 30 days. You want to start to think illogically, start to be unrealistic, because that leads you to becoming unstoppable. And so that's what you can do, you guys. And then remember, when that text comes, when that phone call comes, when that email comes in, 99% of the time, it is somebody else's agenda. You want to learn to know that you are in control of you, that you don't react to anything, but rather respond with that calmness of mind. And by mastering the art of being calm, of not reacting, you then are in charge of you, and you move forward each and every day with massive trackable action toward your goal. But you have to have that goal, and you have to have it written down. You know, so many people, we all love the book Think and Grow Rich. And you ask anyone, whenever I go speak, I ask them to raise their hand. How many people have read the book? All the hands go up. Now, inside of that book, Oren, Napoleon Hill gives you the exact formula of how to get rich. Right? And then I ask people, how many of you actually have your goal card written out with a specific date about the amount of money you want to earn? And I'll find maybe 1 or 2%. And so there's this gap. It's called, Bob talks about a lot. It's the knowing doing gap. We know a lot of stuff, and yet we don't necessarily do what we know how to do. Why is that? Again, back to the mental habits and paradigms. But there is a way that we can blast through, change those paradigms, blast through the terror barrier. Come to know, as Andrew Carnegie talks about, you will come to meet your other self. And that's where that courage comes in, knowing that you have unlimited deep reservoirs of talent, of power, of magnificence inside of you. All of us do. And so that's what I do. I work with people for 6 months, and we move quick. When I have them write out their goal or dream on that goal card, or I tell them right away, it doesn't need to take 6 months. It can happen tonight. We just don't believe it. And so over the course of time, we get their belief to catch up with their behavior. The integration of that is called praxis, right? We want to get your belief caught up to your new behavior. And until that time, I ask them to borrow my belief in them, because I believe that each and every one of us, each and every one of them, is capable of doing whatever they want, unlimited potential.
So powerful, Jon. I got to say, this is probably going to be one of the best episodes we've had on the TV show. You're dropping so much value and knowledge for everyone. So if all the entrepreneurs audience listen, please, if you need a coach, please hire Jon Talarico. He knows what he's talking about. He's absolutely legendary. He's an amazing person. So I want to ask with a few final questions that you mentioned before. You mentioned Akon. Everyone wanted to know, how did you get involved in building this other company? You had Empire Mind, and then you started a podcast also, A Million in You. So could you tell us a little bit, how did you get involved in building a, kind of a media entertainment industry? How did that happen?
Yeah. That just, again, when I realized that I was doing what I didn't want to do, I was pursuing something that I didn't even like. I told you I got fired from my jobs. I started my own printing and packaging company. I hated it. The money was great. It allowed me to travel every month. I'd come back because I needed to make more money. But eventually it just got tiring. So I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I want to do something else. That committed decision. I made a thought and a choice. I'm going to do something else. The minute you guys change your mind and recognize that you want to pursue your goal or dream, the universe, God will respond, whatever you believe, and people, places, and opportunities will show up. And I simply got a phone call. Can you get Akon for this guy's birthday party? I didn't know him, but I was willing to do whatever it takes. And then I started to realize and understand that I had the ability to build and create these amazing relationships. And that's how I developed and started my Empire Media Group. I produced two feature films. I became co-owner of a $25 million cricket franchise in the Caribbean. All of that was possible because it all started with a thought and a decision that said, I'm going to do this no matter what. No idea how it's going to happen, but I will follow these certain things in a certain way and just have that unwavering faith to know that it'll happen. Again, I started to travel the world, got to meet amazing people, millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, right? Industry leaders, sports icons. And yet there was something missing. And I started to volunteer for an organization called Starkey Hearing Foundation. And I was in the Dominican Republic with Lennox Lewis, former heavyweight champion of the world. And we're sitting there giving hearing aids to children who've never heard the sound before in their life. And as I'm putting that little hearing aid on a kid, his eyes light up, his mom's crying, we're all crying. I realized in that moment that there was something more to life than what seemed to be really exciting, right? The things fulfilling the ego. And I said, I'm going to start to pursue my goal and dream, which is to help people. And I made a decision that day that I wanted to do something more. And that's where Empire Media started to transform and change. I started to create the course called The Million in You, because I realized that we all had that one unique thing, that special thing about us. And from there, that made, again, last year, a decision. Let me launch and create the Million in You podcast. I had no idea how to do a podcast. But guess what? I said, let's go. And my first guest was Les Brown. My seventh guest, we had a show with Damon John and Les and another guy who sold his company for over $1 billion. Done an episode with Onyx Singal, as you know. And last month, I had John Osseroff from The Secret come speak to my clients. Before that, it was Brian Tracy. And so it just comes down, you guys, to making a committed decision, not worrying about how it's going to happen, knowing that anything's possible, anything at all, and moving. And when the committee starts to hold those meetings, let them know not today. They're free to come back tomorrow. And do not allow anything, work and harness the power of your will. We're given these 6 higher mental faculties that separates us from the animal kingdom, right? We have the will, the ability to focus on one thing to the exclusion of all others. So when you have that goal written down, anything that's antagonistic to that goal, you don't have time for it. Use your imagination, dream it, see it, act as if the person you wish to become, see the wish fulfilled. Use your memory, develop your memory. There's no such thing as a bad memory. There's only a weak memory. Change your perception about things. Focus on what is working in your life rather than what is not working. And use your intuition. That's God's spirit speaking to us. So often we don't listen to it. But you'll start to see what people call coincidences and signs. Those are not signs or coincidences at all. They're confirmation that you're on the right path, that you made the right decision, that you're trusting yourself, moving forward with that unwavering faith in each and every day.
So good, John. It's so powerful. I mean, all the stuff you mentioned, I'm telling you, this episode is going to be so valuable to people. So we just want to wrap up with the last few final questions about what's going on in your life. So maybe the books that you published, I believe you published a book also where people can find that. And also the last question would be, what's coming up for you? And, coronavirus, very relevant topic. How are you dealing with that and moving forward the next few months, year, any travel plans? So about 3 questions to go.
No, great question, Oren. So the first one, the book actually will be coming out in July. It's called The Million in You, right? And so that will be coming out in July. If you stay and go to my website, jontalarico.com, you can be, let me know and you'll be notified when it's ready for sale. Again, coronavirus, great question. That is, again, goes back to what we talked about earlier, not letting anything outside of you dictate how you're going to react to life, but rather respond. A lot of my friends, Anik, myself, others have had the most impactful, profitable, successful last 12 months. Why? Because we weren't willing to entertain anything going out there. Nothing is ever going to dictate our financial future. We are in full control of that. So I've had the best year ever. Traveling wise, I was in the Maldives in November. I was in the Bahamas in December. I was in Jamaica just 2 weeks ago. And so I'm not slowing down. There's a different virus we also want to be careful about. That's the virus in here, that in the greatest supercomputer ever been built, right? We want to be careful and make sure we get rid of that virus in our thinking, to think that anything outside of us is going to determine how we're going to choose and live our life. And then the third thing, what's coming up? I'm on a mission, right? I'm on a mission to impact and have over 1,000 clients by July. The next mission after that is to produce and launch another feature film. After that is to travel the world. I've got a list of 100 places that I'm going with myself and my partner. And so we're going to travel the world, impacting and speaking to more people. I also always want to be growing, right? I'm taking Spanish lessons already, because why? Because I want to reach also the Spanish market, because everyone needs to understand and have this material that they can transform and change their life, that they can literally think their way into the results that they want. And so it's a great time. Every day is a great day. It's a wonderful day to be alive. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to you, to all your listeners, to be able to share this information. I just, really there is no secret, right? Bob doesn't have a secret. I don't have a secret. Les Brown, Anik. The only thing is that we become what we think about. And so it's so important that you guard your thoughts each and every day, right? You become the master of your mind, and that you move forward in faith, knowing that you can be, do, and have whatever you want. Love yourself, love others, and love life. Treat each person as if they're the most important person in the world.
So powerful, John. We really appreciate you on the show. And everyone listening, please follow Jon Talarico. If you need a coach, please hire him as a coach. He's one of the best. He's so much value and knowledge, as everyone can see. And he's one of the best people in the world. So, John, anything else you want to say to the viewers or anyone before we wrap up the show?
I just again, I want to say, I don't refer to myself as a life coach. I'm a results coach, you guys. Why? Because my clients get results, because they're willing to do the work. And so I would encourage all of you, if you're frustrated, if you're not getting the results you want in life, reach out to myself, my team. Let us show you that if you can tell us what you want, I can show you how to get it. I can help you turn your annual income into a monthly income. I can help you move to where you want to be, and we can do it quickly. Don't ever forget, the way to do whatever you want has always been here. Always ask yourself these two questions. Am I able to do what I just wrote down on my goal card? Am I able to do it? The answer will always be yes, because someone is either doing it now or has done it in the past. The second question you want to ask yourself always is, am I willing to do what it takes? Am I willing to take massive daily action to do things I've never done before, to become someone I've never been before? Am I willing to be accountable? Accountability is your insurance policy to success. Am I willing to reach out to someone and say, can I check in with you every day? Just even if it's by text, to say, I did the work. I did my new morning routine today. Am I willing to write out my goal tomorrow 100 times? Why? But that doesn't make any sense, John. Well, neither did the idea of sending someone up to the moon. Am I willing to create a life script? Am I willing to stand in front of a mirror? Do things that you've never done before. Go all in. Go all in and take massive daily action.
Amazing, John. We thank you so much. And that's going to be the final word for us, everybody. Go all in with Jon Talarico. He's one of the best. John, we really appreciate you for coming on the show. We thank you so much. And everyone that's watching, Jon Talarico, the top places they can follow you, your Instagram page, Facebook, jontalarico.us, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks so much, John. We appreciate you coming on the show. And everybody, keep watching us on the next episode. See you guys later.
Thank you, Oren.